Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Altcoin Disrupt. Today we'll be having a look at Phala. That's the first thing we'll take a look at. Next thing is that we'll do a price analysis and price prediction, and we'll go through any updates that are going on currently in the Phala network ecosystem. Now allow me to declare that this video is not financial advice. This video is strictly for entertainment purposes and for educational purposes. Now Phala network is a privacy-preserving cloud computing service which is based on substrates, and it runs as a parachain of the Polkadot ecosystem to offer computing power comparable to existing cloud services, and to protect the privacy of managed programs based on TEE blockchain hybrid architecture. Developers can deploy confidential smart contracts running inside the TEE enclaves in the CPU. So that is a quick summary of the Phala network. Now let's take a look at the Phala network price. It's currently priced at 73 cents per token. That's with 272 tokens in circulating supply and 1 billion tokens in max supply. So that's a huge margin. Now allow me to assure you, this token has already crossed the $1 threshold. And in fact, it did this on the 18th. In fact, it did this in May, the 18th of May earlier this year. But it also accomplished this exact same number once again in September, the 15th of September. It accomplished just above $1 per token. And since then, it hasn't gotten close to the dollar. We're going to do a price prediction, and we're going to try to determine if that could change anytime soon. So let's continue with Phala. So who founded Phala? The core team members came from famous internet companies such as Google, Tencent. This includes Hang Yin, and chief scientist of Phala network. Was also the head of developer for the new Inqui hash mining algorithm of Bitcoin Cold. So what products do Phala have? It starts with a confidential computational component built for Libra, granted by Web3 Foundation. And speaking of Web3 Analytics, a cutting-edge data analysis tool for next generation, able to analyze user data and output results without invading personal privacy. As Phala network grows, there will be more amazing applications and services based on Phala to serve people and our community. So what the technology does, Phala applies TEE, Trusted Environment Execution, which allows confidential data to run in an isolated and private environment and an output results alone with authorization. Google wants DAU, Daily Active User, data in the recent 100 days on the Facebook. Facebook is willing to share, yet worrying about your user data leaks. So here's how they could perfectly solve the problem with Phala network. Google developers write their own requests into codes on the Phala network and send them to Facebook. Facebook developers received the requests and started to run the codes locally in Facebook nodes. Only results are outputted and sent to Google instead of all activities information containing sensitive user data. So what's the difference with Phala and projects of the same kind? Phala allows different contracts to call each other before executing computations, which is hard to realize for many other projects. We've been discussing relevant solutions with parity and have come out with a major plan. Compared to other confidential computational projects, we focus on more cross-chain of data, not only deposits and assets. Our vision to enable any blockchain to be served with our confidential computational technology. And a big question that a lot of people might have is Phala complicated to integrate? Is it complicated to integrate the Phala technology? Not at all. There are two options, and this has been listed on the Phala blogs, and you can find this exact information that I'm reading to you right now. To integrate Phala through Ethereum bridges, to develop on Phala network with WASM language, try automatic transfer with a Solidity WASM compiler. Now, an additional information on Phala, the complete supply is obviously 1 billion, and I can confirm this to you. This is the information provided by Phala on the Phala blog on Medium. Now we can actually go for a price analysis, but before we get to the price analysis, we have to discuss the token economy, and that's 70% that are going to miners, 15% is going to private sale, 9% is going to airdrops, 5% is to teams, and 1%, a single 1% is going to incentives. Now this is an informational page that you can get some very useful information on Phala network, and I do recommend you checking this out if you are interested in Phala network. But now we shall do our price analysis and price prediction. Now I do think that this crypto will definitely hit $1 once again, and I'm hoping that it does this before the end of the year. Like I said previously, it was actually just above $1 just around October, in the middle of October, around the 9th of October. So that's quite significant. That's exactly just around a month ago. So if you put this into consideration, could it actually achieve $1 once again before the end of the year? Technically, we do have enough time. So that's definitely a possibility. Now I'm trying to identify any patterns that I'm noticing in the market, and I'll try to draw up these patterns using my orange marker. Now obviously these patterns, they do look different, and I think that's one of the main points of having patterns in the crypto market, is that they do look different. So we have to give these things different colors to differentiate what they are, just so we can get a proper understanding of what we're talking about. With my orange lines, I'm identifying the natural trajectory growth. These are the bear runs. These are the rallies. These are price rallies where the price does really well and it goes up to really high remarks. And these are some good times. Now with my orange line, I've identified times when the price has fallen to different levels within the charts, within the price history. And that's important to acknowledge, because whenever it does have a price rally, a strong growth, there is a natural trajectory pattern that keeps on occurring, and I do like this. And if you identify these 3 points that I've already identified, so it's quite easy for you to just look. These are what I'd like to call natural trajectory patterns, and these will continue to rise, and this is something that will continue to help us to get back to $1. The question is, can we stay above $1 in the near future before the end of the year? That's a big question, and to be honest, only time will tell. But in due time, in good time, we will discover if that's actually factual. Now we do have Christmas just around the market, which means that the entire crypto market and the financial market in general might see a decline in volume. Investors are already putting a lot of money into the market as early as possible. And the reason why that is because they're not just waiting for the dip, the Christmas dip, but they're expecting huge growth next year. Early next year, they're expecting huge growth, and they're preparing for that very time. Now, one of the lowest points for Phala network was perhaps around September, the end of September, where you saw the price going down to around 60 cents per token. Now, that's not a big difference compared to where it is right now. It's actually at 73 cents right now as we speak. So if you take into consideration 60 cents compared to where it is right now at 73 cents, that's actually not a big difference at all. So I want to make that extremely clear that there's not a big difference in those price points. But here's what I've noticed. If you take into account the last time it dropped to 60 cents per coin, the 26th of September, and you compare that to where it is right now, you'll actually notice that the lines are actually touching with each other. You'll actually notice a pattern will start to occur. And what I've done is that I'm drawing up additional lines where these patterns are occurring, and I'm going to put these lines in. You can see for yourself that there is a purple line that I've drawn up, and what keeps on occurring but these green lines. These are indication that while it might seem that this crypto might seem that it's on a downward trajectory, it might seem that way. At the same time, it's not losing too much volume, because you'll see at the same time, it still managed to hold its ground wherever it feels like these are important places to hold its ground. And I'm marking out these at the top in green, and I'm marking them in green at the bottom as well, so to identify to you, there's been specific moments when this crypto has indicated to us the highs and lows, but it's all within the same amount of trajectory. That's telling us that it's not losing too much volume. If you use this idea that I'm trying to outline, you'll actually notice that this crypto will actually dip more in price as we speak. That's what my price analysis is telling me. If you can't make sense of what I'm drawing on the screen, then you've got a lot to learn, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm noticing is that this crypto will definitely keep on profiting in price, going up to around 83 cents, maybe even higher in the month of November, getting close to that $1. But before it can do that, this crypto will actually fall. It will actually fall, and it will perhaps fall to around 70 cents flat, 71 cents, and it might dip below 70 cents just a little bit. But what we've got here is a window of opportunity, and this window is narrowing. And when a crypto start narrowing like this, that means there's big price movements in the future to come. There's big price movements, and I can guarantee you that. And I will make an additional video when these big price movements. Now let's draw up my final lines, and I'll put these lines in green once again to identify to you what I'm seeing on this crypto, what the charts are telling me. And I hope the charts are telling you the same thing. These lines that I've put in green, if you think of this as a pyramid, what's in between those pyramids? Volume. A huge amount of volume. How did I know that? I'm only linking these points together. I'm linking them together. You'll notice just where my additional green line is heading. You'll notice that it all makes sense. Look within these pyramids. What you're seeing is movements. The pyramid analogy works really well because what you're noticing is that the market is starting to become predictable if you can do exactly what I've done right here, which is and I hope you've enjoyed this video, this bit of information, this bit of little secret that I've given you today. It's key, it's important, and we will see just how the market plays out. But it's narrowing, and it's narrowing because there will be huge price movements. But I'm also expecting the price to shoot back up to around $1. I don't expect it to stay there because it has to stabilize somewhere. But when the market starts narrowing, there's going to be big price movements, and I have a feeling that's going to go into an upward trajectory. We're looking at more growth, and we're looking at a upwards trajectory. That's what we're looking at for the future. But in the event that the price does actually go down, I'm not expecting anything. I'm not expecting anything worse than 60 cents. And to be honest, if it does get anywhere close to 60 cents, that would be a huge surprise to me, to say the least. So thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to see more, and of course, I will see you in my next video.